Before I turn the floor to Robert Mujica, our new executive director, I'd like to give you all a brief update on the Oversight Board's work since our last public meeting. First, a few updates on debt restructuring. On December 6th, the Plan of Adjustment for the Puerto Rico Highways and Transportation Authority, HTA, became effective. So that restructuring is now underway. The plan reduced HTA's debt by more than 80%, and it cuts the annual debt service from $294 million a year to a much, much more affordable $90 million a year over the term of the bonds, saving Puerto Rico in total more than $3 billion in debt service payments. The financial stability of the HTA Plan of Adjustment will allow, among other things, HTA to invest much more in improving roads and in other projects. On December 16, the Oversight Board filed its proposed Plan of Adjustment to restructure the more than $10 billion of debt and other claims against the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority. This proposed plan is a huge step forward, not just for PREPA, but for Puerto Rico. The plan provides a path forward to end PREPA's bankruptcy under Title III of PROMESA, and it's an essential element in the transformation of Puerto Rico's electricity system, its energy system, to provide more reliable and cleaner energy, and over the long run, more affordable energy as well. I understand that many in Puerto Rico are very worried about the cost of energy. We are too. It's already way too high. These high rates are the result of an underperforming, underinvested, antiquated, and inefficient system, a product of fiscal mismanagement practices that went on for decades, as everyone here on the island knows. That's why we need to transform the energy system entirely, away from expensive diesel and away from the old PREPA monopoly that led to a dead end. The members of the Oversight Board are aware that even if the debt is significantly reduced, as the plan that we filed proposes, the residents and businesses of Puerto Rico will have to shoulder the payments of this reduced debt through their electricity bill. There was not a day, not a conversation, not a mediation session where this important fact was not front and center, and it continues to be front and center. But in the long run, only Puerto Rico's exit from bankruptcy and the transformation defined in PREPA's fiscal plan will create the foundation not only for reliable and cleaner energy, but also for more affordable energy. Under the plan we're proposing, the reduced debt would be paid by a hybrid charge, a two-part charge that would consist first of a fixed connection charge and second of something called a volumetric charge. And what the volumetric charge is simply a charge that's based on how much electricity you use. More electricity, higher charge. The volumetric charge is based only on electricity that is used on the PREPA grid, on the PREPA energy grid. And these two charges together would be part of the electricity bill. The Oversight Board has not finalized how the charge will be implemented and exactly what the impact on individual households and businesses will be. However, the average charge under the plan we propose would roughly cut in half what PREPA's customers would have had to pay for the existing debt. It's a very, very big reduction. The restructuring plan will enable PREPA to move on. It's one of the last steps to finally ensuring that the people of Puerto Rico have reliable electricity and that businesses having reliable electricity will be in a position to grow and prosper. On the fiscal side, the Oversight Board expanded the implementation of the automated time and attendance system to achieve complete automatic integration of attendance with payroll in the government of Puerto Rico. So attendance is now fully, or on its way to being fully coordinated with payroll throughout the government. After successfully implementing the project in 5 government agencies, the project will expand to more than a dozen additional agencies to ensure that only governmental employees who are actually coming to work will be the ones who are getting paid. The project began over a year ago, actually over 2 years ago, in September 2020, and has already saved Puerto Rico taxpayers an estimated $50 million. The failure to connect attendance and payroll reflected serious fiscal mismanagement. It costs the people of Puerto Rico too much. We congratulate the government agencies that worked with the Oversight Board to resolve this problem, and we're looking forward to continuing to improve fiscal responsibility in Puerto Rico. Finally, and certainly last but not least, the Oversight Board hired a new executive director who is sitting here to my left and to your right. Robert Mujica officially started on January 1, and I'd like one more time to welcome Robert to the Oversight Board. As I've said many times in many contexts, nobody on the island is happier than I am to have Robert here. A lot of people are very happy Robert's here. I think I am the happiest of all. All summer and into the fall, well, actually, let me back up because there's something else I want to say, which is apropos of that. If you've not read Robert's column in El Vocera yesterday, sort of talking about who he is and introducing himself, I would really encourage you to read the column. It's an excellent column. All summer and into the fall, I was asked numerous times, including at and after our public meetings, when would we finally have a new executive director in place? As many of you know, we had not had an executive director in place since the beginning of April of last year. And understandably, lots of people were asking me, when are you going to have an executive director? Is the executive director going to be in place soon? And what I said more than once was, this is a critically important position. The executive director is the point person, the chief executive officer of the Oversight Board, manages the staff, does everything on a day-to-day basis. And we intended to keep looking until we were sure we found absolutely the right person. We interviewed a whole bunch of people, but we wanted to be sure that we found the right person for the position. Robert is that person. He's the perfect person to finish the job the board was put in place to do. As we're finalizing the debt restructuring process, we just have 1 or 2 restructurings left to go, strengthening fiscal responsibility and implementing the reforms that will create a foundation for long-term economic growth is becoming, and really is now already, the main focus of the Oversight Board's work. As the former budget director of New York State, he brings the kind of experience we need in helping to shape priorities within the frame of balanced budgets. Puerto Rico has come from the dark days of the fiscal crisis. Has come a long ways from the darkest days of the fiscal crisis. Now we all need to focus on turning this recovery into long-term prosperity. Robert, I am confident, will make sure we do this.